Hi there, welcome to the Noah Presgrove case. So you may be wondering what happened to Noah Presgrove's baseball cap and more so sunglasses. Were they lost and taken away when he died? Or is there a more simple explanation behind it and not foul play? Join me today as I share with you a key explanation and do a photo comparison, one by one slideshow from a certain point of the party, Sunday, all the way till Monday, and what happened in between, and also adding in a bit of a backstory behind a key concept as to how sunglasses were lost but much earlier on at the party involving Saturday night, with video proof of it. So it's going to put things into perspective. Make sure to stick around for the full understanding and explanation. And for those watching the live premiere, share your live thoughts in the chat box on the right hand side of the screen. And at any point in time, and for those watching on catch up too, be sure to leave a comment down below under the video, because it will help with spreading awareness, so then YouTube can push the videos out there more and then more people get to see, because these explanations are critical. Because the way the case is going, it's back and forth between was it murder or accident? Is the foul play or not? And there's a few hybrid combinations of an accident with foul play involved, as in the disposing, the cover-up, the staging. And in between you've had the counterpoints of, if it's simply an accident, then no one needs to incriminate themselves within the case, stick their foot in the door, and then start moving stuff about. If it's an accident, then it's just an accident. But if people ever felt the need or responsibility and they panicked, they may have done irrational actions. You never know. When it comes to missing items and clothing, from what Robin Smith, Ashley Chadwick has said, and to some extent Casey Smith, which we've looked at in recent time, is trying to understand, because this is the big picture, was Noah Presgrove's personal possessions lost all in one go in bulk, or were they lost over time? So when Noah Presgrove died, at a certain point, was he in possession of those missing items or soon to be missing items? If Noah was wearing his tank top, just as an example, if Noah Presgrove had any socks on, if Noah had his hat, sunglasses and wallet and anything else which has gone missing, and then it's just gone after that, because when found at the highway, virtually naked with little to much there, then you'd think, well, something strange is going on if it's removed all in bulk. But the argument what I'm putting across today, with a valid point and possible pieces of evidence as well, actual hard evidence, to put the theory concept that maybe Noah Presgrove lost items at different points at the party. And I would say the more spread out it is, the less foul play there appears to be. And you've also got to take in mind, what about other party goers? Besides Noah, who has missing items and the family hasn't received them back, what about other party goers? Did they lose anything at the party? Was anything stolen from their point of view? Jack Newton said at 5:53 Monday that somebody messed with his hat and he couldn't find it. That someone, who was it? Does Jack know? Was it done as a prank, to hide it, to steal it? Opportunistic behaviour? Whoever messed with Jack's hat, could they have messed with Noah's hat as well? Because if there's a handful of party goers, either through a prank of stealing somebody else's item, or mistakenly taking something for their own when it's somebody else's, if it looks similar or has the same fit, is possible. Of course, there might be some items like the wallet and other stuff that go under the radar and have a bit more suspicion behind it, because what, the monetary gain behind what's in the wallet, where did it actually end up? And other cases as well, like the Dylan Rounds one, how Dylan's wallet disappeared, never to be found. What's really going on there, right? Well, maybe we can get to that at a later point. I just want to focus in at the moment on what can be controlled, because in terms of my predictions, and I might as well say it right now, the predictions that I've had in here and sensed with time and reason as to how things could go and how it's being treated. It's going exactly how I predicted. And yes, there is noise as well. But what can be controlled and what's present here will be done. Okay? Elsewhere, different. Don't need to experience that under control. And if you want to keep it under control yourself, if you have missed out on my recent videos, extremely important ones, feel free to check them out. Top right corner where the eye symbol is, there'll be a full playlist to the Noah Presgrove case and some loose videos attached, or even the full playlist what I've done or started with the Rebecca Zahau case. I do find it really weird what's going on with YouTube, in all honesty, because I know other people like to use it as an insult, but as a realistic observation, this channel has 16,400 subscribers, and the last few videos on a different case, a refreshing new type of case coverage, has only got 80 views. 16,000 people subscribed to the channel and only 80 people watched a few of the videos recently. That, because when people like to go on about cover true crime cases, cover other stuff, well, look how it performs, right? And if the aim is spreading awareness, more so on missing person cases and unsolved cases as well, you think, wow, where's the hunger? Where's the bite? Where are they? I've got the stamina. I don't think other people can meet me at the mountaintop though. Because it is where it is. Beside that, I'm sure tonight will be a bit different just because of the case and topic that it's about. But once again, locked in, the order of how I'm going to do it today. I'll provide to you video footage first of all, may replay it a few times just so you can see for yourself, maybe in slow motion. Try and put an arrow or a marker as well so you can see. Then we'll start with the slideshow and I'll break it down bit by bit, compare, contrast. I've already circled and outlined it so you know where to look and the key points to pinpoint. And then from there onwards, we'll see where it goes. Let's begin.
Punch me. I want to fucking punch.
No, shut up.
Come on.
Yeah, Shady.
Come on, Shady.
Slap his ass.
Ah! Damn. Damn.
Slap his ass.
Ah!
Slap his ass.
Ah!
Slap his ass.
Ah!
So after watching that clip a few times, I did slow it down as well, just so it's a bit easier for you to see. If you didn't quite see it, I will explain it shortly, but the aim of that is to explain where the sunglasses could have been lost and at what point, roughly what time, what day, and so on. Because you've got to ask yourself, with certain personal possessions, what remained a constant to Noah throughout the party footage, and what was once there then disappeared afterwards, and then may have reappeared again and then disappeared the last known footage of Noah. A constant would be the necklace chain around Noah's neck seemed to be on at all times. The next best thing would be the cap, but then the sunglasses, they're not always there. We need to go back to the origins. As said, I don't know what time this was when Noah got slapped by Shandon, but it was on the Saturday at least. And from the lighting, Saturday night, Saturday evening, okay? We go back to these early ones, and whilst there's no time associated with these either, I've just arranged it into a certain order based on my thoughts so you can see the process of personal possessions on Noah and then when they possibly disappeared, and trying to add in, is it suspicious or not? Because as I said, if all items were on Noah and disappeared all at the same time, that is suspicious. If items were lost over the course of days, it's not as dark, it's not as deep, in my opinion. So what we have circled here, and we've used a few of these photos already, but for different reasons. The last video that I did, I believe, was to do with the body, writing on the body. Be sure to check that video out if you haven't already. That tells a very important story. I know fewer and fewer humans have the stamina these days, but the videos in recent time have been extremely important in telling a story and providing possible context. And I did make reference to what you see circled there on the left. It might be a bit hard to see, but I can't really enhance it anymore. Basically, Noah has his forearm tucked against his, well, for him, his right nipple. His wrist is resting on his nipple. And it's what's in between his wrist, the inside of the wrist, and his upper arm, just below the shoulder joint. So it's like sandwiched in between, and there is clearly, visibly, a black object. I don't know if you can see it yourself, but to me, it looks like the arm attached with the hinge to the lenses. They are supposedly the sunglasses, and it's just behind his inside wrist, but it's in front of his shoulder, meaning it is on Noah and it's sandwiched in between, and it's not something in the background, just so you can understand the depth of field. So likely at this point, this moment at the party, which was the Saturday, at whatever time it was, the evening or afternoon, Noah Presgrove was in possession of his sunglasses, but he was not wearing them, and they weren't on his hat either, even though we have seen him resting the glasses on there, which is normal and it makes sense. Some people may do it over their ears, but most will do it over the hat because it stays on the brim, the cap of it. I get that. So Noah Presgrove here also has his baseball cap as well, which he has on more times at the party compared to his shades, his sunglasses. I don't think I really saw him actually wearing the glasses. They were just resting on his baseball cap. Now, yeah, there's a couple of other people with baseball caps. Is it possible anyone else had shades, sunglasses? Furthermore, is it possible that they looked very similar to one another? So if Noah did misplace or place an item of his down as he walked away to go to do something, did another person mistakenly think it was their own, so they picked it up and then walked off with it? Then Noah got back thinking, oh, where's my sunglasses gone? Where's my hat? How unique is Noah Presgrove's baseball cap? Because when it comes to the Dylan Rounds case, that was a bit of an exception. Dylan Rounds had a John Deere farming baseball cap, and within the area it was quite common for people to be wearing that type of branded hat and cap, meaning it was hard to tell whose was who. It just so happened that a similar branded cap was found half buried near a roadway within Lucin, Utah. Turned out it supposedly wasn't Dylan Rounds, but it looked similar because of the brand and the colour. So, there's exceptions there. Was there anyone else at the party which Noah Presgrove attended at the house? Did anyone else have a same branded baseball cap as Noah? If not, well then people should know whose is whose hat and not to mistakenly take it. The exception though would be shades, sunglasses, because of the colour of them. You possibly could get away with mistakenly taking them for your own, providing you had your own with you. And if that's not the case, then if anyone was to take it, they likely would know what they're doing. The only exception is if someone was so drunk that they just picked it up and didn't really think much about it. Whether they took it home with them or misplaced it elsewhere, bit of a mystery itself. But this is just the first photo I wanted to use to put into perspective. At some point on Saturday evening, night time, Noah is in possession of his baseball cap, his sunglasses, his chain, of course. And how do we know it's Saturday? Because he's got his khaki beige shorts on. Shandon is in the background too. And when we move on to the next slide, which is also on a Saturday as well, I don't know what order these are in because no times have been properly given, in honesty. But beside that, it's Saturday in the kitchen area, and I've got it circled this time, 2 circles actually. Noah has his baseball cap. Anything different though? Yeah, he's got it facing forwards as you normally would wear it, and then he's done like a snap back here, I think that's what you call it, where the cap is behind you. No big deal, but with twizzling it around, the shades are also turned the other way around for obvious reasons, more so because it's resting on the brim, and we do have another slide there where it makes it clearer to see the style of it. It's very possible that Noah turned his baseball cap back and forth at different times. It may have not been in just one order. It could have been switching and changing, taking the hat off, putting it back on, scratching your head, adjusting your hair. Very simple, normal stuff you would do. It's just a question of, was there at any point or time where it was placed down and then forgotten about? So if I zoom in here, I know it's a bit blurry, got his baseball cap on, quite distinguishable. There is that other photo which we've not really gone over since, maybe we will do another time, of supposedly from the party but outside on the dirt ground area, and it looked like they were having a fire, and there was someone unidentified with a baseball cap on the ground which was the same colour to some extent as what you see here. You let me know if you remember that. We can always go back over it. The smaller circle within the bigger circle is of the arm, the black bit of the sunglasses shade. What you see there, that's the sunglasses, which are like clinging onto the side of the hat. So what you see there was in Noah's hand or wrist area here, as I've circled, okay? That's how it appears to be. So he's in possession of that, fine, okay. Moving to this one, at whatever point or time it was on the Saturday as well with Shandon. Just a harmless photo. Got Travis Monson in the background near the Christmas tree, and on the left, which it has been cropped down because we're just focusing in on this particular part. The uncropped photos are already available, already shown on my channel. Logan Jernigan, I believe, was on the left. As with Noah Presgrove here, he's got his baseball cap on facing forwards. This photo or screenshot could well have been before this one and around the time of this one because he's got his hat facing forwards. But, you know, I've just got it in this order because it is what it is. I know some people said, what's the brand of the shades? What's the brand of the sunglasses? I don't know personally. If they were a certain brand, would they be more significant? Would they stand out more compared to others that have different branded glasses? Or do they all look the same? Can people get them mistaken for their own? I wonder. But still, Noah's in possession of them here. No big deal. But then we move on to this particular part, which appears to be later on, and they're outside on the front patio porchway area underneath the overhanging roof. On the right is Jack Newton, who I believe had his cap on. I think he was the one that wanted to be punched or slapped, depending on how the audio went. Interesting how these different party goers are willing and wanting to be slapped or punched or anything like that. I know some have said, wasn't Noah Presgrove the centre of it all, being on the receiving end? Is that a little bit suspicious? Well, in this particular case, Jack Newton wanted to be slapped by Shandon, and Shandon pushed him aside because she wanted to slap Noah specifically. Is it that deep? Probably not. Is there a real reason behind why Shandon wanted to slap Noah of all people? Who knows? But when zooming in, and you would have seen the video clip of it already, Noah Presgrove has his hat snap back on backwards, the cap, and resting on the side of the cap, you can see the arm of the shades in black. So they've remained on there at least, as you saw in the previous, like that one there, and that one there where the smaller circle is within the bigger circle. Noah's in possession of them, all fine. But the moment he gets slapped, and you would have seen it, you can always rewind it back from this angle, Noah braces himself by covering his crotch area and takes the slap. But in doing so, that slight jolt to the side, the face twisting, and I guess the head flicking, causing the sunglasses to fall off behind, which is normal, it can happen. The same can happen with losing a hat. If there's a gust of wind and it blows upwards, it can blow your hat off. if it's not really fastened on or tight. It depends what you do next. Do you try and get it back? Are you oblivious and let it blow away or fall off? And in this case with Noah Presgrove, limited footage. I know we don't see what happened after Noah was slapped, whether he looked around, looked down at the ground, whether somebody said, hey Noah, you've dropped your sunglasses. Who knows? But let's use the theory that once Noah Presgrove was slapped and evidently his sunglasses fell off and landed on the ground, Noah could have walked away, gone back inside of the house, and maybe other people did. And at some point, a party girl walked by and saw the glasses on the ground and thought, oh, are they mine? Or, oh, I think I'll take them myself. Who knows? Different motives. And at some point when Noah Presgrove was wondering where his shades went, it was too late because they were no longer present. And when you're drunk, if that impacts your memory recollection, you might not remember where the last were or how you lost them. Noah Presgrove seemed a bit oblivious in a way to losing his sunglasses in the short clip, but of course we might not know the full context because it's only a short clip, but still, it's that possibility. Visually, it shows the personal possession being removed off Noah's body, technically, because they fall off. It's the question of what did Noah do then, after? Did he pick the glasses up? Did he walk away? And if he walked away, that might be the very moment the sunglasses were lost. And somebody else took them, but not in a suspicious way. And it wouldn't really be a suspicious way. Why? Because Noah is still alive at this point on the Saturday. Going into Sunday then, this is where it gets important. Because yes, Noah still has his baseball cap on, but guess what? It's now facing the correct way. The brim is facing forwards, whereas on Saturday it was backwards. Here it was backwards. So what it goes to show is adjustments can be made by Noah and there's no big deal behind it. A slight adjustment of the hat, moving it, turning it, no big deal. But it shows that things can come, can go, and come and go again, and so on. And you might see that more with the hat rather than the glasses, because with this being 10:50 p.m. Sunday night, point of view by Caden Pressey, does Noah Presgrove have his sunglasses on? No. Does Noah Presgrove have his sunglasses resting on his hat like how he did on the Saturday? No. Do we see any more footage onwards of Noah with the sunglasses? Well, at least what I've seen and what I have, no. So because there's no more, and you know what? If you have different photos or videos Sunday onwards going to Monday, and if you see the sunglasses, you can always leave a comment down below, okay? But from what I've looked at and analysed, the last time Noah Presgrove had his sunglasses was Saturday night, which is the first day and the first night which Noah attended the party. And then Sunday onwards, supposedly, with the footage captured, it didn't show Noah with the sunglasses anymore. Is it possible that Sunday morning after breakfast, Noah may have, when he did go home, did he take the sunglasses home with him and then drop the sunglasses off in his room or somewhere? Well, if that was really the case, then it should have been brought up, right? At least from what Casey Smith was getting at. And others that had conversations in the background on behalf of whoever that confirmed that these items are still missing. And it rings true and consistent with what Robin Smith says, Ashley Chadwick, and kind of indirectly Casey Smith, although more about the golf clubs and bag being missing. In terms of what Casey received, which was passed on from Deborah Smith, in which Noah Presgrove was living at Deborah's house at the time, if Noah had taken his sunglasses back home Sunday morning and did not bring them back with him when he returned to the party, hence why we don't see it anymore, well then Deborah Smith would have had Noah's sunglasses and would have handed them out, not so much to Casey, because Casey got the scraps. She wasn't favorited, she was blocked there. But Robin Smith, Ashley Chadwick and some others would have probably got the shades of Noah Presgrove. And considering that it seems like Robin and Ashley are more on Deborah Smith's side in her good books than Casey Smith, who's the odd one out, even though it's the biological mother to Noah Presgrove. for the likes of Robin and Ashley to say that the sunglasses and so on are missing, then likely they are missing based on what I've just said, right? And unlikely that Noah took them back home. So at least what I've seen, what we're looking at here, Saturday night, Saturday evening is the last known time where Noah Presgrove was seen wearing his sunglasses, and also last seen in losing them supposedly when he was slapped. Because Sunday onwards, Noah Presgrove is nowhere to be seen with his sunglasses, visually speaking here, and I tried getting a decent angle as well. Could somebody else be in possession of them at this moment? Who knows? But other things I wanted to point out, the shorts, what you see there, from the looks of it, appear to be fairly clean and not dirty or dusty. And this is at 10:50. It's 1:05 in the morning when Noah Presgrove is outside on the patio area once again with Brylan Sweat. And at that point, that's when Noah has dirty shorts on the back, slightly dusted, slight bit of light surface of dirt, and that is all. Maybe it's when he fell over or sat down somewhere outside where it was a bit dirty. But at least here, it kind of looks more clean. I could be wrong, but it looks cleaner. So you can break it down, narrow it down in the timing and the span of where certain things did occur, changes, and how it was altered with the environment and clothing. The other thing I wanted to point out, and it might not be the best angle, I'll be honest with you, it may not be, but at 1:05 in the morning, on the upper left-hand side of the back shoulder area of Noah, he had like a signature, some writing from a Sharpie pen on his upper shoulder area on the left, and yet, at least from this angle, it doesn't seem to be visible. So would you narrow it down and say between 10:50 p.m. Sunday night and 1:05 in the morning a.m. of Monday, in between that span of short time, that's when Noah was written on temporary. Well, no, Noah was written on to a small scale, because from 1:05 to 1:50 or 1:52 in the morning, there was more writing applied onto the tummy stomach area. So that time frame window of 45 minutes of additional writing being added on that point, the same could apply from in between 10:50 to 1:05. 15-20 minute time difference or so. A lot can happen in that window, can't it? So, side observations with the condition and colour of the shorts, the lack of writing there, even though there was a bit later, and the hat, more importantly. Noah has his hat on here. It's not left him since. So that's something, right? But his sunglasses are nowhere to be seen, so likely it was Saturday when they were last worn and when they were lost. From the video footage, what can be used to put the argument across, when Noah was slapped by Shandon, the sunglasses fell off. And we don't see any more footage of Noah wearing them days on. So it speaks volume in a way. But what happens to the hat? Any given point, moment? Well, 2 minutes later, kitchen area. I mean, Noah's near to the kitchen there, but 2 minutes later, Noah is directly in the kitchen. He's got his chain on, but he is missing his hat. Where has his hat gone? Oh, did he lose it at 10:52? No, not exactly. We'll get to that in a second. Is there any writing on the back of Noah? Don't know, because he doesn't turn around. Nothing on the stomach, tummy area either, but that's to be expected from my previous analysis. Does Noah Presgrove appear more drunk here compared to how he did at this point? Who knows? It's open for interpretation. You only get limited body language. If you're joking about dancing around in the moment, you might appear more jolly, merry, and that could be more associated with being drunk, but it's not always the actual case. So within a 2 minute time difference, one of the first times or so where it appears like Noah is without his baseball cap, right? Then, at 1:05 in the morning. So there's not like a big jump, is there, in time, the time frame window, with the shorts on, but now they do appear a little bit dirty and dusty. And now there is a bit of writing on the shoulder area, which you couldn't quite see in the earlier frame. But more importantly, it's the baseball cap, and hopefully it fits on the screen there, right? He's got his baseball cap back on, but his glasses are not there. Are they anywhere else? Nothing in the hand. Other hand, we can't see. Can in the pocket. Could his sunglasses be stored in his black shorts? There's always a possibility, but I'm doing my analysis based on what's visually present and what can be seen or what isn't really. If it's tucked or hidden away, there's not much you can do about that, right? You just point out and say what's on screen. So, hat on at 10:50, 2 minutes later, hat disappears. More so, just put down on the countertop. I know it sounds so boring, but that's what I mean. People may try and turn parts of this case into a really, really dark outcome and pure foul play. But if it can be simplified with common sense, then might as well do that, right? And here's an example. Oh, did Noah lose it within 2 minutes? No, he just put his hat down, possibly. Because then at 1:05, he had his hat back. He didn't lose it yet. So at what point did he lose it? Well, 45 minutes later, here, Noah Presgrove doesn't have his hat. Again, doesn't have his sunglasses from the looks of it either. Now has writing on his body, as we've already analysed. And yeah, this supposedly, well, at least publicly, was the last known documented photo clip material of Noah Presgrove alive. And then after 1:50 in the morning, whatever happened. With the events of the side-by-side rollover, the shower, the teabagging, eating ramen noodles and yogurt in the kitchen area, and then the bedroom debacle, and then walking off heading east. So from 1:50 onwards, did Noah Presgrove put his hat back on? Or was this last known publicly documented piece of material of Noah the first and the beginning of him no longer being in possession of his hat? That 1:05, 45 minutes earlier, this was the last known time Noah had his baseball cap. That's how it comes across. And some people could say, well, there's more footage out there, but it's not public, is it? Can't do much with it if it's not available or accessible. It seems more clearer as for the sunglasses, because Saturday and then Sunday, missing in action. Monday, missing in action, not seen them since. The hat, on and off, here and there. Can't see the hat if it's on the countertop near the sink. Can't quite make that out. Is it anywhere else? It could be, likely. Would it have been remaining at the party house at least for then when Noah walked away? You would think so. So you could ask yourself then, how exactly was the hat lost and what point then? If the sunglasses can be explained in an innocent way, can the same be applied to the hat? There's always that chance and possibility, but maybe it's more easier to mistakenly pick up somebody else's sunglasses because they're similar to yours in colour and style compared to baseball caps which have different colours. At least from the partygoers, what we've seen that wear them, because not everybody did have them. But how many actually had shades and sunglasses? Don't really see that. But that aside, if we just jump ahead for a reference point as to where the hat ended up, right? Because it's not been cleared up since. It's gone very quiet, so I just bring it up every now and then. This screenshot, transcript from one of the Parts in True Crime videos, which involved private investigator Kathy Bingham. I'm just going to read for it how it is. It might not make sense. You might not know who's saying what because transcripts are limited and shit, as you can tell, because it doesn't give the names and it's not always word for word, as you know. Anyway, can push your luck only so far. Have you heard anything about the casino? Yes, we heard something about the casino where an eyewitness apparently saw 3 of the boys who were at the party take Noah Presgrove's hat and put it into something or a hat that resembled Noah's hat. Let me be clear. And then put it into a trash can. Yes, in the bathroom. Yes, I am actually working on that now. Waiting on a call back. That's what Kathy Bingham's saying. I mean, it's very suspicious to me. Yes, I'm hoping they still have the video so I can go look at it. But are there going to be cameras inside of a restroom, a bathroom, or more so cameras outside pointing towards the door of the bathroom, and if the door's closed, you're not really going to see anything, are you? It will allow me to, if not, then we'll have to go and probably get a search warrant on the casino if they still have the video. So was it ever done? Was it ever followed up on? I wonder. Yeah, I'm hoping they still do. I don't know how long they keep those videos, but have you talked to the person who made the statement? Yes, I have. She knows who those individuals were. Did she recognise them? She recognised one of them for sure. Okay, so we have an eyewitness. Have you actually eyewitness and ID something? Okay. So, at some point, what year was it? Well, the interview was in 2024. It wasn't explained by Kathy Bingham whether this event, an eyewitness saw it take place in 2023 or 2024. The earlier, the more relevant to the case. Who is going to have Noah's hat onwards into 2024 and be disposing of it in a reckless way if it has any links or they themselves association to the death of Noah? Why dispose of it in such a way? If it really was Noah's hat, whether you have anything to do with Noah's death or not, and if you're somewhat of a friend or know Noah, the basic thing would be to maybe hand it over to the family that are deserving of it, or pass it on to one of Noah's friends and not just be dumping it in the trash, because that could be considered disrespectful and just disrespecting Noah's name. You know, you're at a party which Noah was at, he's passed away, and then in 2023 or in 2024, you've got Noah's hat for some reason. The family wants it back but don't know where it is, and yet you've got it. And it's been described here that there was 3 guys and they were from the party. Now, who were those 3 guys? Texas boys? Noah's personal friends? Noah's best friend? Who knows? Not exactly cleared up, is it? But that's what Kathy Bingham stated. She's been in contact with a person in the past, an eyewitness that worked at the casino, and saw 3 guys which supposedly had Noah's hat or a hat that resembled and looked similar to Noah's hat. Why would they be in possession of it? That's a question. And why would they be disposing of it like the way they supposedly did? Now, beside that, when I did my video at the time, there was a follow-up response by a someone, whether it's a real person or not. Kayla Carter said, "Ref, how do I contact you? It's important." I said what I said. Did she contact me? Nope. Did she respond back on here? Yes. She said, "I'm the female," in capital letters. Well, good for you. I'm glad you know what your gender is. Who saw, and I worked there. So I clean the men's and women's bathrooms. What you said about the hat is all wrong. This just goes to show how easily information can be twisted. Oh, there we go. We got a bingo buzzword of twisted, like how some people like to use in this case, like a broken record. Well, let's just make one thing very clear. Kayla said it back then. I'll say it again. What I said is deemed all wrong and, oh, it's been twisted. Guess what, Kayla? What I was saying was what Kathy Bingham stated. Kathy Bingham, the one that was in contact with you. So clearly there was a breakdown in communication elsewhere and not with me. Get a grip, okay? Has there been a follow-up since? Nope. It's been completely radio silent. Funny how these things just fade away. Maybe because there's not much significance or relevance to it. Maybe it's been cleared up, debunked. Would have been nice if it was debunked publicly and the awareness was spread, but here we are. And that's why I come back to it, considering with the theme of what we're talking about today, I think we should head on over to the maps to theorise something else in regards to what could have happened to the hat. So I have some events listed on here as like a basic timeline. It might not include everything that I want, but just to call out certain events in which Noah Presgrove was involved in, and if it links to him somehow losing his hat in the moment, kind of like how we did with the slap situation. People call it slap game. Is it really a game of slapping when it's just one-sided and it's only done once? Who knows? 10:50, Caden Pressey records Friends in Georgia, and we saw the screenshot of that from the video, okay, of Noah with his hat on but no sunglasses. 10:52, dancing in kitchen, no writing on body, no hat on him. 12:48, Georgia sick, doesn't really involve Noah that. 1:05, Caden Pressey recording, Brylan Sweat slapping Noah. When Noah was slapped there, no sunglasses fell off because no sunglasses were on in the first place. But Saturday night, earlier, when it was Shandon that slapped Noah, yeah, the sunglasses did fall off. So, if Noah had sunglasses, which he didn't, but if he did, and Brylan slapped him at 1:05, the glasses could have fell off there as well. It would have been always a possibility. But the hat remained on regardless. 1:42 a.m, Caden Pressey away from Georgia, Alicia worried. 1:42, yeah. 1:50 in the morning, no Presgrove in the bathroom with Jack, no hat. What happened onwards? That's what we're trying to figure out. 2:42, Alicia calls Caden, Georgia on the way back home, more so. 3:41, Jasmine, Noah is missing. Right, okay. So we're really looking at 1:50 to 3:30, right? What happened in between 1:50 to 3:30? Side-by-side rollover. Pasture area round the back. It's very possible that if Noah had his hat on, it's hard to tell if he did because at 1:50 he didn't have it. And we don't have any public footage onwards after that point to show that he retrieved it back or he put it back on. So there's always that small chance Noah could have lost his hat at 1:50 because he's seen without it. But we don't know about the other footage onwards, whether he was wearing it or not during the rollover, the after effects of that, the shower, the teabagging, eating food, debacle in the bedroom, and then walking away. We don't know if Noah had his hat with him at that point because the footage isn't publicly available. So we can't go all the way, can we? But it is very possible that if Noah did retrieve his hat back after 1:50, after he put it down, just like that, at the side-by-side rollover, when tipping over because of the force, the jolt, the movement, the shift, landing on the ground, turning, it could have easily knocked his hat off his head. That's very possible. Caden Pressey was showing a photo from a video, even though Caden was able to describe it almost as a video, which is interesting. That person at a later point who had the footage showed it to Caden later, post-death of Noah. But it supposedly depicted person running up to Noah just after the rollover. Noah had a bloodied nose, supposedly, which other people claim a lip injury instead. Any mention of Noah wearing his baseball cap? No. But it's possible that if he had been wearing it during the rollover, there's a fair chance his hat could have flew off or just fell off and then landed onto the floor. Whether Noah picked it up or not, that's a mystery based on that concept. If Noah was disorientated and if he had other things on his mind in the moment, he may have neglected his hat and left it behind on the ground. Is it possible that somebody could have picked it up after him to retrieve back to Noah, or they took it for themselves? Or they looked after it for safekeeping but never returned it back to the rightful owner? I wonder. You let me know what you think. Could the side-by-side rollover have been the catalyst behind losing the hat? Just because of the movement, the shift, the force, and all of that. The other likely point the next likely point where your hat would be taken off, likely, is when it comes to the shower. shortly after the rollover from one location to another, maybe in the process of being escorted, in the bathroom or just outside, Noah taking his shorts off, you would think, when having a wash and a shower, but also taking his hat off so he can wash his hair, likely. But where would the hat go? Because honestly, if the black shorts were taken off before getting in the shower, where did they end up eventually? Back in the hands of the victim's family. Dalen received the black shorts. Okay? So the black shorts were left at the party house and they were taken off at the time of when Noah had a shower. If at that same point Noah took his hat off and it was with his shorts, then why the hell was his hat not returned back at the same time as the black shorts then? You're thinking of grouping items together. If one ends up somewhere and it's alongside another item, you'd think they would both go in the same direction and end up in the same place, possibly, if they're grouped together, if they're picked up together and dropped off together. Would anyone have been more or less likely to choose the black shorts to steal over the hat? Well, I think it could be a bit of a personal preference if it does come down to that people would probably think, ooh, I'm not going to be wearing somebody else's dirty shorts, ooh. And if they're wet as well, no, we're not going to be putting on some wet clothing. But why would the shorts be wet? Because I think it might have been Brenda or somebody else that suggested they could have been left in the bathroom or left dangling about wet from the shower, wearing them inside of the shower or taking them off and water splashing on them, I wonder. And what about the hat, if that was nearby too? Did that get wet? But you'd think people would be more willing to steal somebody's hat than somebody's used shorts because of, where they've been and what touches them, right? With a hat, it's just somebody's scalp. Yeah, you could be conscious of, oh, did he have dandruff? Do they have lice, nits? Do I have to be cautious of that? You might not think too deep. When you think of shorts or underwear, you'll be thinking, oh, they've been touching the banana and plums. I don't want to be touching that myself. Oh, no, thanks. I want clean pairs. So you've got to take that into consideration. And then just the fact of, if you've got a dry hat and wet shorts, who's going to pick what to wear? A dry hat over wet shorts. Would it have been done as a prank that when Noah leaves something behind, people take it away? That is a possibility as a prank. If somebody was getting changing rooms, changing some clothes, trying other clothes on, and then another person snuck in, stole the person's own clothing, so then the victim or the one on the receiving end of the prank had no clothes to put back on besides the store-owned ones. Then you're in an awkward, tricky situation of what do you really do? Do you walk around naked? Do you keep the clothing on which you haven't owned yet? And in other cases, sometimes when you are changing, some people outright steal all your clothes so you've got absolutely nothing to wear. And that can be an awkward situation. Is that why Noah Presgrove possibly was teabagging but also running about naked because he had no spare clothes? That his shorts weren't accessible because they were too wet to put back on and too dirty, or they were already taken by that point temporarily. As for his hat, may have already gone by then. Did anyone play a prank on Noah and took his clothing or his hat away? Then eventually, at some point, able to borrow the white wrestling shorts which belonged to Jack. My question is, at what time and what level of interaction took place for Noah to borrow Jack's white shorts? If Jack was asleep, did Noah wake Jack up and say, can I borrow your white shorts or what? Not really heard that explained clearly. In terms of anything else onwards, like the bedroom debacle, depends if there was any physicality, because it's been worded that around 3:30 or onwards, possibly outside, if Noah's walking off at the time, there was that verbal fight, as it's mentioned in the wrongful death lawsuit, between Jack Newton and Avery, the birthday girl, versus Noah Presgrove, over what exactly? Open to interpretation. that verbal fight at that moment was Noah wearing his hat in the process of when walking away? Who knows? Because really, what I'd say is, like the phone, very important as possible evidence and a personal possession to Noah. Left behind at the party by Noah's own choice, or was it hidden to ensure that Noah couldn't call for help? Depends how you look at it, right? But the phone won't really tell much of a story because Noah distanced himself from it as he walked away. It's the items in possession on Noah at the time of his death which tell a story, because it would have some form of DNA on it and possible touch-based DNA. And the question is, how Noah was found and the items that were found on him or near him, the broken chain, pieces of it, mismatched shoes and shorts nearby in the middle of the roadway, the white ones. What else was Noah wearing in the process of his death, or at least when he was walking away from the party? What was Noah in possession of when he walked away at 3:30? What's the difference between how he was found and earlier when he was walking away? Because if Noah was wearing, for example, his own shoes and not a mismatched pair, that's unusual. If Noah had his wallet with him, socks, tank top and anything else like that in between, when Noah's walking away, because those items just so happen to be still missing till this day, then it would mean that when Noah died, whilst he was in possession of those key items, they ended up being taken away. So then when he was found, such as on the highway, those additional items were no longer there and are now missing onwards. That would be foul play, right? There'd be no need to take clothing away from a dead person or a dying person unless you're trying to get rid of evidence. That's why some items, like the sunglasses, could have been lost earlier, a day before or two at the party, like I've demonstrated. As for the hat, maybe the same, but we'd need more footage of it. As for other items like the wallet, the other shoe of Noah's, the Adidas one, and so on, that can remain a bit of a mystery. But the more items lost over the course of days, the less likely it is for foul play. But if a collection of Noah's personal items were all on him when he was walking away at 3:30, yet they weren't on him anymore, such as at 5:43, 5:53 onwards, there's room for concern that there is foul play, personally. Because where else would that clothing go? If Noah was walking away down here, for example, and his wallet was on him, his tank top was on him, his socks were on him, his other shoe was on him, and anything else in between, or certain aspects, and his hat specifically, and then he died at some point, where would that clothing go? I think some people may have suggested, he may have taken it off as he was walking down the path. He may have taken it off as he was walking down the highway. Well, if that really was the case, you would expect and anticipate for those items to have been found now, even if they were dumped about, but they've just not been found. So, were they lost at the party? Were some items lost at the party? Then other items were taken later. You let me know what you think below. All in all, hopefully you found that video interesting. As said, top right corner screen is the full playlist on the case and some videos in recent time. If you want to support my channel, down below in the comment section, there'll be a pinned message PayPal link and channel membership if you want to join the channel. And, if you just have any questions or answers and additional discussions or theories in between, feel free to add it in down below in the comment section. It all helps. And I'll see what there is to be done next. As for video ideas, any theories or map analysis. With that being said, my name's Wyatt Rath. I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Good night for now.